Have you ever wondered how certain beliefs, values, and practices become so ingrained in society that they appear natural and common sense, even when they serve the interests of a dominant group? This question lies at the heart of the concept of cultural hegemony. Introduced by Antonio Gramsci, an Italian Marxist theorist and politician, cultural hegemony offers a lens to understand how power dynamics play out in our societies. Cultural hegemony refers to the control that a ruling class exerts over the society's cultural institutions and ideologies. Rather than using force, this form of dominance subtly shapes our worldview, making us accept the interests of the ruling class as our own. This mechanism of consent over coercion allows the ruling class to maintain its power. As we delve deeper into Gramsci's life and his theory of cultural hegemony, we'll discover the profound impact of his ideas on our understanding of societal power structures. Let's take a journey through the life of Antonio Gramsci and his development of the theory of cultural hegemony. Antonio Gramsci, the man behind the theory of cultural hegemony, was born in Alice, Sardinia on January 22, 1891. His birthplace was a small rural town far removed from the bustling city life of Rome or Milan. Yet it was here, amidst the rugged landscapes and the hard-working locals, that Gramsci's keen sense of social justice took root. Gramsci's family was not affluent. His father, a low-ranking government official, was imprisoned on grounds of embezzlement when Gramsci was just a boy, plunging the family into poverty. This hardship, coupled with Gramsci's own physical fragility, a condition that left him hunchbacked and in constant pain, made his early years a struggle. Yet it was this struggle that sparked in him a deep compassion for the underprivileged and the oppressed. Despite the adversities, Gramsci's intellect shone through. His school teacher, recognizing the boy's potential, convinced Gramsci's mother to let him continue his education. So Gramsci, the son of a disgraced civil servant, received a scholarship to attend the University of Turin, stepping into an entirely different world. Turin was a hub of industrialization and workers' movements, a stark contrast to rural Sardinia. Here, Gramsci was exposed to the harsh realities of the working class. He immersed himself in the world of social sciences and philosophy, devouring the works of Karl Marx, among others. This was also the time when Gramsci began to participate in politics, joining the Italian Socialist Party and later co-founding the Italian Communist Party. His early life in Sardinia, his exposure to poverty, his struggle with health, and his experiences in Turin all deeply influenced Gramsci. They shaped his understanding of social structures, power dynamics, and the role of culture in reinforcing these structures. These experiences, combined with his intellectual curiosity, paved the way for his development of the theory of cultural hegemony. Gramsci's early life experiences would later shape his political ideology and his understanding of power and society. Gramsci's political activism began in earnest during his university years in Turin, where he became involved in the workers' movement. At the heart of Turin's industrial scene, Antonio Gramsci was deeply moved by the plight of the workers and the stark social inequalities he witnessed. It was here that he began to delve into Marxist theory and labor politics, eventually becoming a prominent figure in the Italian Communist Party. As the party's general secretary, Gramsci aimed to create a united front of workers, peasants, and intellectuals. His vision was of a society where power was not only held by the few, but was shared among the many. He sought to challenge the existing power structures and to bring about a social revolution. However, Gramsci's political activism did not go unnoticed by the ruling powers. With the rise of Benito Mussolini's fascist regime, Gramsci's revolutionary ideas were seen as a threat to the state. In 1926, he was arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Imprisonment, while undoubtedly a harsh blow, did not dampen Gramsci's spirit. Rather, it became a crucible for his ideas. Inside the prison walls, cut off from the outside world, he began to write. These writings, known as the prison notebooks, are where we first see the concept of cultural hegemony take shape. In these notebooks, Gramsci explored how the ruling class maintains its dominance not just through force, but also by shaping society's cultural norms and values. He examined how this ideological control permeates every facet of society, from education and religion to media and art. While in prison, Gramsci also wrote extensively on the role of intellectuals in society. He envisioned a new kind of intellectual, one not confined to academia but who arises organically from the working class. These organic intellectuals, as he called them, would play a crucial role in challenging the dominant ideology and promoting social change. While in prison, Gramsci began to develop his theory of cultural hegemony, a concept that would change the way we understand power in society. In his prison notebooks, Gramsci introduced the concept of cultural hegemony, a theory that explains how a ruling class maintains its power. To understand the intricate dynamics of power within society, we must first delve into the key components of Gramsci's theory. These include ideological control, consent and coercion, organic intellectuals, and counter-hegemony. Firstly, Gramsci emphasized ideological control as a key mechanism of power. He argued that the ruling classes maintain their dominance not solely through the state apparatus, such as government, military, and law enforcement, but also through control of cultural institutions. Educational systems, media, religion, and art all become tools in the hands of the elite to disseminate and reinforce their preferred ideology. Next, we come to the concept of consent and coercion. While the power of a ruling class can be maintained through force or explicit domination, Gramsci argued that the most effective form of control is when the dominated class consents to their own subjugation. Cultural hegemony works by presenting the worldview of the ruling class as the natural order of things, as common sense. In this way, the population voluntarily accepts the social, political, and economic norms dictated by the elite. Gramsci also introduced us to the concept of organic intellectuals. These individuals are not necessarily associated with traditional academic roles. Yet through their professions they contribute to the development and dissemination of ideas that reinforce cultural hegemony. They can be journalists, artists, writers, or anyone playing a role in shaping public opinion. Finally, Gramsci recognized the potential for resistance, for the development of counter-hegemonic ideas. Social movements, alternative cultural expressions, and intellectual critique can challenge the dominant ideology. They can contribute to the formation of a new cultural hegemony that aligns with the interests of different social groups, effectively changing the status quo. In essence, Gramsci's theory provides a framework for understanding how power is not just about physical control or economic dominance. Instead, it is woven into the very fabric of our cultural norms, values, and beliefs. It is embedded in the stories we tell, the education we receive, and the media we consume. Gramsci's theory of cultural hegemony provides a lens through which we can understand how power operates, not only through coercion but also through the shaping of culture and ideology. Despite his early death, Gramsci's ideas have had a lasting impact. His concept of cultural hegemony has permeated into the academic fields of cultural studies, sociology, and political theory, becoming a cornerstone for understanding societal dynamics and power structures. Gramsci's emphasis on ideological control is a lens through which we can examine the role of institutions in shaping society. From the education system to the media, these entities often serve as vehicles for the propagation of the ruling class's values and beliefs. This understanding gives us a nuanced perspective on how societies are molded, not just by laws and regulations, but through the subtler influences of culture and ideology. The importance of consent in Gramsci's theory allows us to explore the dynamics between power and compliance. Cultural hegemony is not about overt domination. Instead, it is about the ruling class subtly shaping the worldview of the populace, leading them to accept certain ideologies as common sense. This insight prompts us to question the natural and common sense, and to recognize the role of culture in upholding or challenging power structures. Gramsci's concept of organic intellectuals has also enriched our understanding of the role of individuals in shaping society. These intellectuals, spanning various professions, contribute to the development and dissemination of ideas that reinforce cultural hegemony. They serve as a reminder that every individual, regardless of their profession, can impact societal ideologies and norms. Lastly, Gramsci's recognition of counter-hegemony illuminates the potential for resistance and change. Social movements and alternative cultural expressions can challenge the dominant ideology and contribute to the formation of a new cultural hegemony. This concept is particularly relevant to contemporary issues, as it provides a framework for understanding the dynamics of social change and resistance. Through his concept of cultural hegemony, Antonio Gramsci has left an indelible mark on our understanding of society and power, reminding us to question the natural and common sense, and to recognize the role of culture in maintaining or challenging power structures.